Hi, I'm Nick Noble, and this is Smartpunk Live, broadcasting from the Wrecking Ball Fest 2016 in Atlanta, Georgia. I am joined by a hardcore legend, the pioneer and frontier of so many things that happened that started from New York, but this year is Anthony Civ Civarelli.
Hi, everyone.
He is the lead singer of Civ and also Gorilla Biscuits.
I am.
Two of the bands, like I said, that are pretty seminal.
And this is my daughter Eddie. She wants to talk.
He is quite a family man. She's welcome in and on your lap if you'd like.
A family guy today.
So speaking of that, tell me what a day in the life of a hardcore legend has become.
Legend is weird guy, dad. Changing shitty diapers, getting up early, taking kids to school, going to work, usual stuff. But on now it's not really a rare occasion, but touring is still in the mix.
Yeah,
and
we're all happy that it is.
Thank you. We're happy to do it. So we do, I guess, Gorilla Biscuits a little bit more frequently, and then Civ stuff kind of when everyone's schedule. But everybody, it's still very. Everybody is still kind of incestuous with the scene where we all play in different bands and stuff.
Absolutely.
So I think that just happened from the '80s, where you found somebody that can play drums, and
you're excited.
And you were like, oh, that guy can play in this band and this band, this band. Same thing happens now. It's like with Turnstile and Cold Cave and all that. Those guys are doing the same thing. You find people you can gravitate towards and play with. So you stay with them.
I love it when younger bands even do that.
I totally think it's great.
Like Code Orange Kids, something like that. Or
we were just talking about it. We went to Brazil with Judge and Civ and Gorilla Biscuits, and we all just kind of played whatever.
Together,
We got Derek from Sepultura on stage and Mike on stage, and we all just, at that point, it's like, who gives a shit? We're just all playing together.
Was that a tour of Brazil? Was that a one-off show?
It was like a weekender. We did. Civ opened up for Judge. Judge headlined, and then the next night Gorilla Biscuits headlined with some local bands.
Wow.
But it was fun, it was like 12 of us that all got to travel to South America together.
Yeah.
And we just,
it's a dream come true.
It was fun. It was really cool. We've been there, the first time I went, I broke my ankle in Argentina, and I tried to walk it off, and I got to Brazil, and then my foot was completely black when I got off the plane.
Wow.
And I was like, had to kind of eat it and go, all right, I have to go to the hospital. So I had to fly home from that, and Walter sang. That was a bum out because I couldn't play. But then we went back and we played some more shows in Brazil.
That's also one of the great things about intertwining your bands. You have someone else that, unfortunately, that you had to leave.
I was a little bummed, but I was a mess. So I was just like, I have to go home.
Yeah.
And then we went back, so it was fine.
Did he sing for Civ?
He sang for Gorilla Biscuits. No, this was just a Gorilla Biscuit tour. And he stepped up. Everybody stepped up. I think the first night they all tried to sing a song, and they were switching. But after that, they didn't really like it that much.
Let the big boy take the wheel.
They were like, let Walter sing, and he did his best. He did good.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So speaking on Gorilla Biscuits a little more, I know there was something that happened a couple shows ago that kind of blew up on the internet.
I think I know what you're talking about.
And I thought you really elaborated on it beautifully on stage, but I know that speaking of Wrecking Ball, I know that only the people that were in that room got to hear your heartfelt explanation of how you feel like the words were mistaken.
I was actually really surprised when I woke up on Sunday after. I was with my kids. We have a little bungalow, like a summer place, and we were swimming, and people started texting me. And I was like, how could that be misconstrued? Or like, I thought it was so clear. And then it was like, you said this. And I was like, I didn't say that. And then it got, it really just got out of control. I think it really got out of control when people started getting my back about it, because then it was like...
Then it was a war, then lines were drawn.
It was lines were drawn. And which I'm a fan of choosing sides.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan of gray area most of the time. I'm very black and white.
Love that band though.
Yes, I love Gray. Ernie's the best. But I just, I just, choose a side, and you have to, and I think it's a hardcore thing too, man. Like, you have to choose, what side you're on. And I think when lines were drawn and people started, defending it, that almost made it worse, because then it seemed like, we did something that needed to be defended, or I said something that needed to be defended.
Right.
And it was just like, here are the words, we had them. Joe Hardcore really helped me out he had somebody sit down and like just go through it a few times and like write them out, because I even said to him, I said, is this the exact quote? Like, and he's just like, those are the exact words. So I was like, okay, let's put this up and that'll, chill it out. And he was like, Joe's Joe, so he was like, I'm ready to kill somebody. And I was just like, it's going to be cool, like, it's all right. People will rise to the occasion and understand what we were talking about. And it took a few more days, but I think it was really so much. I got so much like love and support from like everybody, and I think that people. I think some people really got upset and they got angry, and it was a trigger phrase, and people get triggered quick, and especially people who are, more, they're on the internet more than I am, or more, they're living more in that scene, and I'm more face-to-face crowd conversation.
Sure.
So I also appreciated, in a way, from even people who were talking shit and like really fired up, I accept the passion, I accept the anger, because
even though it was
misguided, if they didn't feel it was misguided, and even though they were super fucking pissed at me and the band for what they thought we said or what we meant, I still appreciated the passion and the anger, because I think punk rock and hardcore, we need that, and I didn't want to be the sacrificial lamb for that, but I if you're gonna hate with all your heart. So and they did, and it was fine, because afterwards, it's the dialogues went on, the conversations went on, and I feel we were all very like, I didn't know how Atlanta was going to be, because this was the first show after that. And you hope everybody rises to the occasion with you and understands you, but it was definitely nerve-wracking.
Watching the Gorilla Biscuits set, I think, more than everyone rose to the occasion.
Dude, trust me. Last night was the only good night's sleep I got in a week, because I was so stressed out. But after the show, we were just really happy we had a show lined up, because I don't know what I would have done if I had to wait 3 or 4 months.
There was a big fallout.
Or whatever, But like I said, it was, I appreciate the passion and the anger and like getting upset about something. I don't think it was, deserved to be directed at me, but I think it started a dialogue, and I think ultimately it's a good thing.
Yeah, I think, like I said, even though it was a comment that was taken a lot of different ways out there, because there were two different sides. Yeah. Both sides were arguing for equality, even though one side mistook words that you said, or another side didn't.
That's what I'm saying.
Either side was asking for equality, and I think that's the most punk rock thing you can do. Yeah. So even though there's an argument that happened and took place, it's even important that the punk rock world be aware of the movement, and that you said it. As horrible as it is to mention anything like this, I swear I'm not comparing you to Trump, but Trump says things and then it gets out there. All of them are bad things, but you
that's
said
like my nightmare. Trump is a fucking maniac, and he says things that I can't believe. But you know what is a true statement? I think it's like opposite. I feel the people who will attack, who were attacked in this situation, there's a freedom to attack people without any cause for the people who attack. And I think Trump does that a lot too. He'll say the craziest thing, and he'll just kind of like, it'll brush off him. Even some of my friends who kind of like, trying to say good things about it, they said crazy things, and they just walked right through it. And I said, like, something that words that thought it was like the words that trigger people. It was like,
Yeah.
and I got, attacked. But I just think, this is where we're at. This is the scene we're in, and it's cool, like for us, it wasn't cool a couple of days ago, but now I'm just like, all right, man, you guys were pissed. You made it clear. We understand each other. I clarified it. And, and ultimately, like you said, there still needs to be a change in this. Not everybody is treated fairly in this country.
Absolutely.
And, and I'm completely aware of that and completely on the side of, change. And on the side, I mean, we've been talking about this stuff for 30 years.
Yeah.
And you want to say with me? So we can, for 30 years we've been talking about, equality and about racism and about homophobia, sexism, like all this stuff. So for us, it was crazy. Like what? Like where? Whatever. It was just. It was just
it's
like.
It's also a sad fact that the conversation has only started 30 years ago, when it's deeply seated in America.
Yeah.
America was founded.
But
on
I mean, what
slavery,
people have to understand too, when we started talking about it, and like Walter was writing about it, that was groundbreaking shit.
Yes.
30 years ago.
Yeah.
And like I talked about it briefly in another article or interview, but I mean, the scene used to be divided on so many levels. Like we said before, like you had to pick sides.
Yeah.
You were either a straight edge kid, you were a Nazi, you were a punk, or you were like just like a hardcore guy. And that's what you had.
Yeah.
And the idea of unity and the idea of unity and the idea of one scene being like for everybody.
Yeah.
That was groundbreaking shit.
Yeah.
But again, people who were doing it, they weren't there. They didn't live it. It all has to do with how everybody's feeling now, and it's all relative to your time. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
Do you hate this microphone?
I think she loves it.
She's like, get this thing out of my face.
Would you like to say what you said last night on stage about the show that you had in Atlanta and kind of?
Well, basically, it was crazy because I talked about this fight. I've told the story a few times. Me and Ray Capo. I was a Youth of Today roadie in 1987. It was the first time I left New York, and it was a life-changing experience for me in so many ways. But I didn't realize that it was in Atlanta that we got into this fight. We came into the club, and whatever. It was a Youth of Today show, and there's local bands opening. And there was a weird club. There was like college football player security guys, and there was 2 pool tables. And Walter was selling, like he was sitting with the merch, and all of our guys, like our fighter guys, like Richie and Mike Judge and Purcell, they were out getting dinner, and I was with Ray, and a bunch of straight kids, hardcore kids were like, man, these guys are ruining everything. There's these like skinheads, these Nazi dudes, they're dicks, blah blah blah, and I don't know if you know Ray personally, but back in the day he was a pistol. So he was just like, who, where, and I'm like up his ass like, yeah, who, where. I'm like 17, like 140 pounds, like I'm gonna do something. Yeah. And these guys are dancing, but every time anybody else dances, they smashing people, knocking them to the floor, pushing and punching and whatever, being bullies. So this one guy is dancing around, and Capo starts dancing, and he like throws himself into this group of guys, but they know who he is, so it's kind of like, shit, do we beat up the singer of the band that we came to see, or we let it go? So Capo's dancing around, and then like somebody else dances, and then Ray grabs the guy's suspenders on his back and snaps them.
The skinhead?
Yeah. So I'm just like, is this guy fucking crazy? Like there's 2 of us, there's like a whole bunch of these guys. So long story short, they get in his face, he gets in their face, they start fighting. Some bouncer yokes up Ray. Ray's not a big guy. So he's got him like this, and as he's got him like this, he's yelling at somebody here. Somebody else starts punching Ray while he's like in a chokehold. So I'm like, shit. So I go and I start punching that dude. He turns around, we start fighting, and I'm just like, please, somebody grab me like a bouncer so I can stop fighting right now. So we both get broken up, and then Ray's like, listen, I'm the singer for Youth of Today. I'm calm. Everything's cool. The bouncer lets him go. Ray picks up a bar stool and smashes it over this dude's head. And now the whole place erupts. We start getting, beat up. RJ, our other roadie, he grabs a pool stick. He comes jumping over a pool table, swinging this thing like this, like just getting a pit going by himself. Everybody's dodging him. Bouncer grabs a bar stool, throws it at him like a missile, knocks RJ down. I jump over the pool table. I land on RJ. I'm like, he's with us. Like, stop. Then that happens. The show happens. It's fired up, crazy, anti-raps. Ray's doing his thing.
Yeah.
And at the end of it, we're loading out. Security guys come up and they're like, listen, we hate those fucking guys. They left a note and they said they're going to be at the McDonald's if you guys want to fight. And everybody who wasn't there, who missed the fight, I'm like, nah, we're good. Like, it's cool. But everybody else was like, let's go get these guys. And the bouncer's like, we're going to go with you because we hate these fucks.
No shit.
So we all got in our van. The bouncers followed us, and we went to McDonald's. And we waited, and nothing happened, luckily. So we drove away. So for me, like, this is, an early experience where, now violence and fighting is very looked down upon. But then it was a way to survive to the next show. The only people you had were the people you were with. That was your friends. You protected each other. And, punk rock wasn't always
safe,
PC and safe, and it wasn't cool.
So to take it from the dark times and the path that you've led, I have to ask you this totally nerdy question.
Okay.
But I love Beavis and Butt-Head. So to have a song featured on Beavis and Butt-Head?
That was a scary, scary moment.
Yeah.
Because when we were doing the Civ thing and we were doing the MTV thing, I watched Beavis and Butt-Head, or Mike Judge, which is weird because of Mike Judge. Mike Judge from Beavis and Butt-Head destroy people.
I've never thought of
I'm picturing Mike Judge drawing Beavis and Butt-Head. But I watched some bands and friends get destroyed on Beavis and Butt-Head, and I got a phone call, and they're like, dude, you're on fucking Beavis and Butt-Head. And I was like, no. And then I watched it, and I was like, oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like, they were cool. I was like, this could go so bad right now.
Did they contact you ahead of time? They just...
No, man, you're just like...
You're just fodder.
You're a public figure. You're fodder.
Wow.
If whatever they want to do.
They didn't have to contact your label
Nothing.
and get rights?
Nothing.
Wow.
They just do it because you put it out there. It's
Free
your
range.
free reign, man.
Wow.
That was one of our first forays into being just public figures and saying like, all right, you can say whatever you want.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, just doing the Civ stuff on a major label, we got tons of shit for that.
Yeah. On Atlantic.
On Atlantic, we were on Lava Atlantic, but like people would come to shows with signs that said like, fuck major labels and fuck this and fuck that, and we would just, we would address it and take it. Hey, you're back. How was that? You have some carrots? So it was, we'd have to deal with that shit too every once in a while. Where are we going? Come up. This is the reality of life. They don't, when you have kids, they don't give a shit what you're doing.
Yeah.
and it's great. They're just like, hey, that's great. Stop.
Yeah.
I want to go do something.
It's the beauty of it.
And I saw Dave Grohl do an interview, and he was just like, my kids don't give a shit what I do. He's like, they're like, I want to eat a smoothie now.
They did there was a documentary they did before they filmed, or that they filmed, of the recording of not the last album, but the one before. And the little kid kept like running in and saying like she wanted ice cream or she wanted to go to the pool. He was like, "Daddy's recording a guitar part. Get out!" Like, he's literally playing guitar.
Yeah, don't give a shit. You're not cool. You're just dad, which is great.
Yeah, it's humbling.
Yeah, it keeps you grounded.
Yeah. So I have to say honestly, thank you so much.
I hope it helps. Not me, but I think the whole thing. And like I said, if it's, sometimes someone's got to be a sacrificial lamb to get a dialogue going. And if it's me this time, it's cool.
That's brave. It really is.
Well, I guess it would be brave if I volunteered for it, but it just happened. So
Yeah.
I'm just trying to be, I don't know, level-headed about it.
Absolutely.
Nor not reactionary. I'm trying
That's
to.
the most important thing you can.
Yeah. If 10 years ago, I probably wouldn't have reacted the same way.
Yeah.
I would have probably been a little bit more pissed off.
Well, Civ, again, thank you. It really
Thank you.
meant the world to be able to speak to you. I know that
My pleasure.
everyone's just waiting. Everyone that knows that this is happening is just waiting to rewatch it, and
Good.
everyone's excited for it. So it's Smartpunk, and all of us.
I
really
just,
thank
you know what?
for
I
it.
just, this is a perfect me situation.
Uh-huh.
I realized before when I said there's no gray area, it's just black or white. And I'm like, so whoever's going to jump on that one,
yeah.
I already thought of it. I didn't mean black and white. I meant gray area. Because you never know. I got to cover my
You're
bases
right.
now.
You're right. Yeah.
But
Every
I was like,
single
oh
word.
man, was that bad? Is that going to cause trouble? All right.
I don't believe
I think
so.
I'm okay. All
Yeah.
right.
I got
you
your
be
back
the
on
judge.
that
They
one.
got back
Yeah.
on that one? All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's not misquote me on that one.
Cool. Yeah. All right. Well, this is Nick Noble with Smartpunk Live from Wrecking Ball with Civ, signing off. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Thank you. All right, but that was good. Woo! Let's go.